Hey folks, this is Kalani. With Professions having the largest overhaul we've ever seen, I thought it would be nice to go through the Professions and explain how things have changed and what you can expect heading into Legion. This time around, more than just the recipes have changed and been updated, we've even had some system changes which affect how the Professions work from the ground up. I'm not going to go over secondary Professions in this video, but I'll look at them in the near future. Let's start with Gathering. The biggest change to Gathering is that we no longer have to fight each other for gathering nodes. Both mining and herbing nodes are character specific, even if more than one person is trying to loot it at the same time. You can have any number of miners take from the same deposit, or any number of herbers picking away at the poor flower's roots. This means we've got something of a halfway mark between the garrison, which allowed everyone and anyone to collect their own resources without having the required professions, and how it used to be. First to the node wins the loot. You'll need to have mining or herbing to interact with their respective nodes, but the node is your own private node. That means you'll always be able to find herbs or ores with a little bit of effort out in the world. As far as skinning goes, there's no real change. Skinning a corpse will still cause it to despawn, meaning only one person can skin one corpse. The new rare crafting material is also pretty important when talking about gathering professions, as mining, herbing and skinning seem to be the most reliable way to collect it. This material is the blood of Sargeras. You'll need to rank up your gathering skills to be able to collect it, and it's used in pretty much every important recipe. If you don't plan to take a gathering profession, there's no need to panic. While gathering might be the most reliable way to collect the blood, it's nowhere near the only way to acquire it. There's world quests, dungeon boss drops, and even enchants which allow you to gather blood from random mobs out in the world. There may also be a vendor who can suck up excess blood for rewards, just like Motes of Harmony or Primal Spirits in previous expansions. If you're worried about picking up professions now and leveling before Legion hits, it might not matter too much. There's currently zero benefit to having higher profession skills. You can do everything that someone at 800 can do, all the way down at skill level 1. You can pick up a profession completely fresh when Legion hits, and not be behind at all. There's no catch-up mechanics because the skill level literally means nothing. The only thing it's going to affect is previous expansion recipes and rewards, which, unless you're a collector, are completely obsolete when Legion comes around. That doesn't mean professions don't have any progression anymore though. In Legion, this comes in the form of ranks. There's 3 ranks for most recipes and skills, and each rank provides certain bonuses or buffs depending on the recipe and profession. Gatherers are able to collect more materials from a single node as they rank up, and crafters typically use less materials to craft items as they improve their recipes. So with most of the general stuff out of the way, let's have a closer look at gathering. Miners can collect the new ores, laystone ore and felslate ore from a variety of places. You have deposits, seams and living sources. Each of these sources has their own skill in your mining tab, which you can rank up. Rank 2 of mining laystone deposits allow you to gather more ore from that source, but if you want to collect more ore from seams, you're going to have to rank up laystone seam mining. As with all gathering professions, you rank up by completing quests, which are randomly found while gathering. If you gather a lot of living felslate, you'll get a quest to rank up living felslate gathering. If you want laystone seam quests, you'll need to gather from laystone seams a lot, and so on and so forth. Herbalists can pick a whole bunch of flowers depending on what zone they are currently in. Aetheril can be found in Azuna, Dreamleaf can be found in Val'sharah, Foxflower in High Mountain, Fjarnskagel in Stormheim, and Starlight Rose in Suramar. You can also find Yssaraline Seed, which appears to be a herb instead of a seed, among any other herb found in the Broken Isles. Skinners have 2 options really, Stonehide Leather and Storm Scales. Leather comes from skinning animals with leathery hides, and scales come from those who may have scales, or just any creature which doesn't yield leather. After skinning for a while, you also gain the ability to collect Unbroken Tooth and Unbroken Claw while skinning. These skills don't have ranks tied to them, but they are still quite valuable. The teeth and claws are used in a lot of recipes, and if you can't get them via skinning, you have to hope for them to drop when killing mobs. Each gathering profession also has a rare material. Miners have Infernal Brimstone, Herbalists have Fellwort, and Skinners have Fellhide. All of these items seem to come from world quests. You must have the profession to trigger and see these world quests, and they are fairly simple. The task rewards you with a handful of your rare material. Attaining rank 2 in any gathering skill allows you to start collecting Blood of Sargeras from that specific gathering source. Crafting is a different beast, though the fundamentals of acquiring recipes and ranks are more or less the same. Each crafting profession seems to make use of more than one gathering profession's materials though. That means you may have to fork out a few pennies at the auction house once in a while or set up some trade deals with friends. Or for leather, herbs for skins and the like. That may be one of the most exciting parts of professions for me, though I'm sure when everyone gets around to leveling their alts, we'll all be self-sufficient again and stop talking to one another. The quests to unlock your starting recipes are usually found in Dalaran from either your trainer or someone in the same building. After that, you'll have a quest or two take you out into the world to learn from the denizens of the Broken Isles. Pretty much every crafting profession goes through this rite of passage. After that, it gets a bit more complicated. You'll still get quests from Dalaran, but they will be locked behind level requirements. That's your character level and not profession level. That means you won't get your last profession quest until you hit max level in Legion. You'll have the choice of getting to 110 and then starting professions, or going back every 2 levels or so to knock them out one at a time. Each quest you get usually leads to more quests, which will provide you with extra recipes and extra rank ups of the recipes you already own. From there you can find extra quests out in the world, recipes and rank ups on vendors, and even from dungeon drops. For crafting professions, the rank ups typically reduce the amount of materials required for the recipe, and some ranks remove some materials entirely, allowing you to mass produce your highest ranked recipes with ease. When you get a new recipe, you can hover over the rank stars to see what rank you currently have, what the next ranks will provide as a bonus, and where you can acquire the next rank of that recipe. I would expect folks who really love their crafting to be able to rank 3 in most of their recipes very quickly. It doesn't seem all too difficult, it just requires a good chunk of time. I wish there was something higher so that those who really want to focus on crafting as their main goal or objective have something shiny to show for it. When everyone has rank 3, it's going to be as if the rank system doesn't really exist. But that's pretty much how every crafting profession is going to acquire recipes and ranks, so let's have a closer look at each profession and see what you can make. In an effort to keep things concise, I'm going to blast through the professions to give you a general idea of what each can do. So for Alchemy, you've got your typical potions, your mana and healing potions, as well as some interesting ones like throwing a bolt of energy at your target. We've got the typical flasks, agility, stam, intellect, and strength, as well as a new cauldron to provide all that for your party or raid. There's transmutes galore, including a Blood of Sargeras one, a random one, and changing pretty much anything into anything else. We've got a new Alchemist Stone Trinket, because where would we be without it? We've got some new fun potions like the Avalanche Elixir, which does a lot of damage when you fall from a great height, as well as new invisibility potions and speed potions and the like. Blacksmithing is where you'll come for all your plate needs. They craft all the plate gear as well as some relics. So these go into your artifact relic slots and they fully depend on the artifact weapon you're using. So you can craft holy, fire, iron and blood using blacksmithing. If they slot into your artifact, this is where you can get them. We also have a mount down here with the Felcor Hound harness and some interesting mount buffs. The Demon Steel stirrups allow you to interact with things while mounted in the Broken Isles, and then the Laystone hoof plates increase your mount speed while in the Broken Isles. They last for longer if you are a blacksmith. We don't have a lot of enchants this time around. You can enchant rings, cloaks, and necks. The rings are crit, haste, mastery, and versatility. Cloaks is agility, intellect, and strength. Necks are a little more interesting. They do different things depending on the enchant. You can heal nearby allies. You can increase crit and haste. You can summon rain of arrows on your enemies. You can increase your armor. You can summon a hidden satire, which attacks your enemies, and then you can also do a mastery enchant. There's short enchants. I know they're not all here, but basically this interacts with different professions. So this one would be tailoring, and basically when you kill something you've got a chance to get a cachet which includes tailoring items. I know there's one for herbalism and mining, I believe, so they're not all there, but basically you can enchant your shoulders to help your professions. Then we've got glove enchants for herbalism, mining, skinning and surveying, which increases the speed of all of those professions, so you gather herbs faster, you gather ores faster, etc, etc. We have relic slots for the arcane slot and the shadow slot, as well as some fun pets and toys in the Leylight Brazier, enchanted cauldron, pen and torch. We also have tomes of illusion, so these unlock the appearance of weapon enchants for the different sections of the world, essentially. So Tome of Illusions Azeroth is all the old weapons, then you've got Outland from Burning Crusade, Northrend from Wrath of the Lich King, etc, etc. That unlocks enchant looks in your new wardrobe transmog system. Engineering has all the fun stuff. You've got your goggles as usual for your head slot. You've got some interesting combat tools and devices. We've got relics for the storm slot as well as the fell artifact slot. A few toys, including a circuit design tutorial, a wormhole generator, sonic environment enhancer, which it allows you to play different music, as well as some pets. We've also got Reeves, which is the big thing for engineering this time around. You create a new Jeeves. Basically, you need a battery every time you activate him, and you can throw a bunch of different stuff on him, including a bling mode, failure detection mode, which is a mass res, fireworks display, piloted combat mode, repair mode, turn him into a repair bot, snack distribution turns him into a feast, and you can throw a wormhole generator on him as well. That's going to keep engineers busy throughout Legion. For inscription, we still have our turrets. We can create a very early trinket as well as the Dark Moon card of the Legions for the trinkets later on. Mass milling's now a thing, as well as the Vantus runes. These are very new, and basically you increase your versatility by 1000 while fighting a specific boss. It only lasts 1 week, you can only use one per week, so if you're struggling on a boss that week you can get a bit of a boost. Vantus runes only come from scribes, so this is the only place you can get them. Then we've got books and scrolls. To change your talents, you're going to need a Codex of the Tranquil Mind or a Tome of the Tranquil Mind. The Codex basically gives you an area to do it, and then the Tome is a single use. We've got Scroll of Forgotten Knowledge, which lets you learn old glyphs. Glyphs are still a thing, but no new ones in Legion. We've got the Steamy Romance Novel Kit, which everybody's going to love. We can have Song Scrolls. You can craft these to use more songs in the toy that we saw from Engineering. And then there's also the Frost Artifact Relic and the Life Artifact Relic. Jewel crafting has access to rings and necklaces as usual. The rings are a little boring, but they always come with a socket. The necklaces always come with a socket, but they do something special. There's way too many of these to go through, but I can tell you that they do things for specific classes. For the warrior, charge and intercepts generate more rage, and for the druid, increases versatility while outdoors, that kind of thing. Then we've got gems. So Saber's Eye is the epic gem, unique equipped 1 for agility, intellect and strength. Then we've also got blue and green gems for crit, mastery, haste and versatility. Then we've got some toys in Jewelcraft, which is basically Bejeweled in WoW. We've got Chatterstone, which is a fun toy, and we can even make lockpicks now. You can mass prospect, and prospecting is back, so we can happily prospect for different kinds of gems. One interesting thing is that you get gem chips. If you saw that gem chip was yellow, which means that our next gem that we get is going to be yellow. There we go, we got a yellow gem. These gem chips are vendor trash, and their only use is in one cooking recipe, I believe, so apart from telling you what gem is coming next, that's the only use they have. Leatherworking is where you're going to go for all your leather and mail needs. They create all of that gear, and then from there it's a little bit boring. We've just got a few toys and pets. You can get a leather love seat as well as a mount in the Elderhorn riding harness. Then we've got pet toys in a flaming hoop, a pet leather bed, pet leash, and a stonehide leather barding, which prevents you from being dazed while mounted in the Broken Isles, and that buff lasts longer for a leatherworker. Tailoring is where you're going to go for all your cloth armor and cloaks. Nothing really particularly special there, but we do have a new bag. We have a blanket, which makes your mount more comfortable for 2 hours, as well as some clothes chests. So these chests let you set out a party item, basically, and your raid and party can look like Dalaran citizens, like the Karazhan Opera House, or the Molten Core. If you ever want to swap between any of the professions on offer, you can now do so with basically no penalty. Because skill level doesn't matter for professions anymore, you can drop one and pick up another and start right where everyone else does with Legion recipes. If you want to swap back, you can purchase a book from the respective trainer and get back every recipe and every rank that you had earned through quests in the old profession. You can swap as many times as you like and still relearn everything from quests you did relating to Legion for 1000 gold. Obviously, if you want to keep any old recipes or your 800 of 800 skill, you won't be able to swap as you lose all old world recipes and can't relearn them the same way, and you'll start back at 1 of 800. But for anyone without anything they want to keep, swap away. The last thing to talk about is the Obliterans Forge. You may have noticed that the crafting professions are still creating random stats on their gear. You may have also noticed there's no reroll item or upgrade item in the list of recipes. That's because the Obliterans Forge covers both. First, there's no rerolls at all anymore. The stats you craft with are the stats you're stuck with, meaning if you want crit and mastery on your crafted gear, you'll need to repeatedly craft the item until those stats appear. All that excess gear with stats you don't want doesn't have to go to waste or even to the auction house. The Obliterans Forge allows you to basically disenchant it into a special ash, which you can combine into Obliterum. It takes 100 ash for a single Obliterum, and you'll get 10 to 30 ash depending on what item you decide to destroy. Using the Obliterum and a handful of blood of Sargeras, you can upgrade the item level of your crafted gear by 5 item levels up to a max of 7 times. That means at launch, if things stay the way they are, your crafted gear can reach an item level of 850. And that's pretty much all the Forge does. If you're wondering how you build it, it's a fairly simple quest chain in Dalaran that starts with a cart on fire and ends with you running around the sewers gathering a bunch of junk. And that's it. That's how professions are working in Legion. That should have covered everything. If you have any questions for anything not covered in this video, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. Apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.